Hey guys, it's your host, MD Lovelace, coming to you live from Graceland. You're watching the Sconni Sports Show. Welcome back to another new episode of the Sconni Sports Show. I'm your host, MD Lovelace.
Jeff Bryce.
Jeff, it's another week in football paradise.
Oh, yeah.
Badgers, like we said last week, are coming back, which is always good. Coming up in about a month from now. Almost a month to the day, which is kind of sweet. Coming up shortly, we have special guest Darick Holmes, a former NFL running back. Guy was a beast when he played with the Buffalo Bills, man.
Yeah, definitely. I remember very, very shortly with the Packers, but
yeah, he had one here in Green Bay, and then he played like literally one game with the Colts. But man, we're going to focus on that time that he had again up in Buffalo, and then we're going to also talk about again the brief stint in Green Bay. But he definitely had some memorable moments while he was here, which is always neat.
Definitely got in the game a lot, I think.
Yeah, he had some pretty decent carries. I mean, the preseason he tore it up. There was definitely some high hopes for him coming in. We're going to talk about his off the field stuff, obviously a little bit that kind of came up newsworthy a few years back. And then also being a dad and watching his son continue on to the NFL, which is pretty awesome. Darnay played over at UCLA, and now he is one of the starting players for the New York Giants. So always kind of neat. Like we always joke about each episode, which kid's going to succeed or not. So it's nice to see him taking that fatherly role and what it means to him, to come so far, hanging on by his life strings and now obviously living through that moment to now see his kids playing in the NFL, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
Other sports news this week, man, lots of injuries to try and keep up on. Holy smokes.
I mean, a lot of running backs, Barkley, Cortland Sutton. Who else is there? A couple other guys, main guys. Fantasy that hurts.
Taylor today finally was announced. Obviously, this is a week back, guys. We're filming about a week early. So the Packers naming Lane Taylor over to the IR. And then, of course, we haven't yet played our game, but we will make some predictions here tonight and see who's closer. So Packers facing a unique situation. While they're starting wide receivers, and we put this on our Facebook page, so hopefully you guys saw it, has to get cleared by the Green Bay medical team again.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting.
Not very often you'd see that. There's a lot of questionableness on that. But there's a reason they do that. I mean, Green Bay, like we talked about in the other episode, especially through Bell and Health, has really leaps and bounds around the rest of the league. They have that amazing facility. And hopefully soon, with everything COVID, I can take you guys through that facility around with some of those doctors and talk about what they've been able to do and why they're so profound for, their sports medicine program. So really, really neat to see guys. Again, we talked to last week, Von Millers and now Michael Thomas and a few other guys coming in because Green Bay tends to be the best for that injury prevention, injury rehab, and the surgeries. Cam Newton being another guy that was through here. So, and you look at the remarkable things Cam's already doing this season too. I mean, the Patriots got a steal with him this year. You got to admit it at the end of the day. Love him or hate him, I mean, that guy's not skipping a beat at all right now.
Yeah, I'm one of the guys that hates him, so I'm not a fan of him.
Story. Jeff, you put this up on our Facebook page for us. Alec Ingold, former Bayport running back and Wisconsin Badger, of course, scoring the first ever touchdown. The kicker got the first points, but the first ever touchdown for the the Las Vegas Raiders being Alec Ingold, the local running back. So how awesome is that, Jeff, to have that?
That was pretty sweet to see, especially a Bayport grad. I mean, especially around here, you don't see many athletes making it to the big stage.
Wrong, Jeff. Hang on. That is the University of Bayport, as we knew.
University, yeah. The weight room was unreal. You can see that online. I think we posted that.
Posted that for everybody. I mean, yeah, if you guys haven't had a chance to take a look at it, the University of Bayport, as they like to be called, locker room is just night and day above the rest in this area. I mean, unbelievable. And they didn't have hand-me-downs from the Packers. I mean, that is all brand new equipment that is, again, better than some college programs. So it was neat. I got the chance to work out with a couple of my old players for the Green Bay Blizzard, Minnesota wide receiver and former Mr. Minnesota, Andre McDonald. And then I also had Eric Brundage, who spent some time with the Packers. And it sounds like he has a chance to do some workouts with some other pro teams, including Miami. So it was cool to give him some time today to work out a little bit. I mean, running around in my socks wasn't probably the best idea I ever had, but hey, man, it was to get back out there and move around. So check with me tomorrow. I'm probably gonna be hurting, but it was cool to get back out there and just see some old players, and hear some of the success stories. I know Andre spent some time in the minor leagues getting back into it, switching positions a little bit, playing a little defensive end, and then we got Eric. That I mean, if you guys haven't heard of Eric Brundage, man, I mean, read his stat line on his 40-yard dash time. He did a lot of off-season work with the Jordan Loves, Tim Boyle. He was with Lazard. I mean, he was working with those guys over at um,
Tom.
G Fields out here. So
Yeah,
chance to take it all. And he said, man, all the Tim Boyle haters, step back, man, because that guy is just, he said, every throw is on point. I mean, he really has come a long way, he said, with some of his throws. So it's good to hear that. Knock on wood, we don't have to worry about the anti-Rodgers or without just moving again. But if we do, he said, yeah, rest assured, Tim Boyle is definitely the real deal and has stepped up his game the last couple off seasons. So good news to hear. Just in case, obviously, we don't want it to come down to that, but it is nice having that reassurance that Tim Boyle is definitely looking and acting the part this offseason.
definitely. Definitely. It's a long cry from having Deshaun Kaiser in the game. So,
But yeah, you can definitely, if you get a chance to look at even just some of the social media posts that not only the Packers, but Aaron Rodgers himself has put up with Tim this past off season. Really, really cool. I mean, there's a lot of confidence in that guy. I mean, you got to be to take over a number one draft pick. It makes you wonder, is Jordan on the right pace for this season? Is there something going on, or is Tim just really that improved from last year? I guess we'll have to kind of wait and see. It's only week 2, and we say only, but again, it's early on, so hopefully, we get some good battles out of those two as far as the backup quarterback spot. As of this now, week 2, almost going into week 3, Jordan Love's still not activated yet. So we'll kind of wait and see as it goes. Hopefully, for Packer fans, we get to see him soon. Obviously, with no preseason, it's been a little unparalleled, and maybe that's just it. Packers say, hey, we haven't seen you really playing the game situation with us. Let's just have you wait around a bit. I mean, Aaron Rodgers kind of did the same thing behind Brett, but at what point do we finally get to see that a little bit play out? So hopefully we'll get that opportunity. A.J. Dillon obviously getting some touches in last week's game again. Not many, but still enough. You can just see the punishment coming out of that big running back. I mean, 6'4", 210, 220?
yeah, definitely.
Animal coming through. And he's another one of those guys that got to work out with, again, my old receiver for Green Bay. And he said, yeah, that guy is just a beast.
He's definitely looking the part. The legs on that guy are unreal.
Well, he had the most favored hamstrings in all the NFL or something, or most sought after hamstrings because of those. Weird how social media has found anything and everything to talk about with some of these players, but yeah, I mean it's something better than nothing. It's not bad news for a change, so we're always excited about that. So Jeff, we got to talk about your little guy, man, playing some flag football.
Oh yeah, He started last Saturday, and they're putting him on the line. He's liking it. I mean, the first time I told him, I said, "You see the guy at the ball? You got to go after those flags." And he had a chance to go after somebody who had the ball. So he kind of runs right around him. I'm like, Griffin, no, you got to go after him. Get the flag. So yeah, it's a learning process, and we'll see how it goes.
Nice. So a couple of weeks back, and I never got to it, and somebody had reached out through social media on it. The Timber Rattlers having some positive testing over at their facility for some of the brewers that are obviously, if you guys don't know, the Timber Rattlers are the affiliate for our Milwaukee Brewers here in Wisconsin, although we'll talk about our Cubbies here in a second, Jeff. And they had a huge outbreak for a little bit over at the Timber Rattler facility. So hopefully that cleans up. And hopefully for our Badgers' sake, I mean, 42 positive tests between staff and players. So hopefully we'll see that improve, because the last thing we want to do is have the guys get some false hope and then come to find out they're COVID excluded from the season again.
Well, the thing with the Badgers is they actually have a little bit of time on their hands to get healthy. They're not till end of October. So I mean that'll help.
And all that, you want to make sure your guys are getting timing down. I mean, that was the big thing that a lot of the NFL guys talked about too, is getting that timing down and getting some workouts. You look at the Tom Brady's that was kind of doing some unequal workouts or unsanctioned workouts technically.
Yeah.
COVID, he got kicked out of a park, a house, and everywhere else kicked out of. So even with Tom Brady, you're not able to. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be joined by our special guest, Darick Holmes. Hey guys, looking for new apparel for your next big event? Check out our friends over at Stenciled, our official apparel provider for the Sconni Sports Show. Hey everybody, we are back. We have a special guest coming in right now. He is a former bruiser, I guess is the best way I could describe Darick's running my days of watching him. It is Darick Holmes. Darick, thanks for joining Jeff and I tonight.
I appreciate you guys for having me.
Man, it's beautiful out there. You can tell you're not in Wisconsin right now. It's 9 o'clock and dark.
Oh yeah.
You going?
It's both times about 6:45 out here. Still 80 some, almost 90 degrees.
Man, Jeff, we got to relocate the show for next time. We're going to Darick's house.
Yeah.
So Darick, for people that don't know you, walk us through kind of how you got your start in football, and then we'll talk about the pro stuff here in a minute.
Okay, yeah, I started playing football about 9-10 years old. My first time playing football, as far as tackle. What a lot of people don't know, I didn't play that many years of football. Actually, I played my 10th grade, like I said, as a 10-year-old. I played in youth. I played again at 12 years old. Played again like my sophomore year in high school. No, actually my junior year in high school. So my junior and senior years in high school, I played. Then I went to junior college. My mom passed, and sat out after my mom passed, and went back and played at Pasadena City College. Went to Portland State. Then ended up getting drafted. But I only played a couple of years of youth football actually.
Wow. Okay. Were you always a running back, or did that kind of?
I was running back as a youth. In high school, I played receiver. In junior college, I played receiver and running back.
Okay.
Nice.
Always the beast that you became to be, as you went on to Buffalo, or were you kind of like more of a timid speed guy, or did you always kind of have that bruising frame on you?
I had always had a big frame, but I had quick feet and speed. So I ended up getting big. I always had speed. I ended up getting big, so that's why I really became a running back.
Okay, nice.
But I think I wanted to be a receiver instead of a running back. But like I said, I gained weight. When I sat out after that year, my mom passed. I said I gained a lot of weight.
Okay, yeah, I can relate to that, man. I lost my mom about 4 years ago to breast cancer myself, so I can understand and empathize with you on that, man. Losing a parent's definitely never easy. And I took time myself off after my mom had passed. You kind of go in that. I don't know if you want to call it a haze or a funk, and I'm sure you can relate to this being in that position. But you kind of just get lost from it. You know what I mean? That rock, that support, and it just makes you sick kind of funny. So, yeah, I can definitely relate where you're at. I mean, this is the heaviest I've ever been. Granted, it's been 4 years. I think half of it was just that whole COVID mess. But, yeah, man, I can definitely relate to you on that.
And I was young. I was only 18. So, yeah.
Now, are you close with your dad at all or no?
Yes, no, yep.
Awesome. So walk me through draft day. First couple rounds go. Were you being told that you were potentially going higher? Did they say there's a chance you weren't get drafted? Like, what was your story going into the draft?
Going into the draft, I was rated in the top 10 running backs. Coming from a Division II school, they had good film on me. A couple of scouts had told me, and my agent, that I should be drafted between the second and fourth round. I ended up going later because of my I had a checkered background growing up. So I ended up going 7th round to the Bills.
So when it started creeping in the 6th and 7th, did you start to think, man, I might not get drafted? Like, what was your reality on that, or what was your thought? Did you know for sure you were going to get drafted, or did you start to have that hesitation of, man, this might not go as well as I thought?
When the draft first started, the first day or so, I was for sure I was going to get drafted. Then once it started getting in the 200s, and my name wasn't called, I'm seeing all these guys go off the board like, wow, he went before me. So I didn't think I was going to make it. Actually, like I said, I ended up being drafted, I think pick 244. I'm saying almost like 3 or 4 picks not being drafted.
Was there ever a time that you thought maybe I should just go undrafted and be a free agent and pick my own team?
Actually, I didn't. I'm saying I was just so happy to be drafted. But I think it would have been beneficial to me to not get drafted, like you said, with 4 picks, because I could have picked where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
But actually, it was a blessing to go to Buffalo because Thurman, they needed somebody behind Thurman. So I was picked. The guy placed me in the right place.
Yeah, definitely.
Where would you have put yourself if you had that opportunity, like Jeff mentioned, to be able to pick your team? Where would have been your top choices?
You know what? Actually, I think it probably would have been Dallas because I was a Dallas Cowboys fan, and I knew they needed a running back behind Emmett too. So it probably would have been Dallas Cowboys.
Okay, nice.
They actually both Sherman Williams, I think, in the 3rd round.
Okay. So what was it like playing behind TT? What was
Oh, it
it?
was great. Thurman was a big brother. He taught me a lot. He wasn't a guy that, he helped out, you know what I'm saying? Coming in, being a rookie, thinking that, a guy like me might be coming for his job. I mean, he was comfortable where, he was helping me and the other running backs out. So he wasn't big-headed. He didn't think, because he was a Hall of Famer. I saw him as a Hall of Famer right then.
Absolutely.
And, he helped out a lot.
He had some big names there. Bruce Smith, Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas. I mean, man, just play with those guys. How was that?
Right, Andre Reed. I think all of them are Hall of Famers too. Yeah, Andre Reed, Steve Tasker, just to name a few. No, it was great. Actually, then we ended up getting Bryce Pop. You remember Bryce from you guys in Green Bay. So no, it was pretty good. We have a nice nucleus of players. That, like I said, 4 or 5 of them already in the Hall of Fame.
Definitely.
What was that locker room sitting like in road trips? I mean, were those guys pretty much the only talkers? Was everybody pretty involved?
No, actually, it was like I said. I mean, with the veterans were real cool. They didn't treat the rookies or the younger players different, and that was a good thing about Buffalo. Everybody was on the same level, you know what I'm saying? They didn't treat anybody different. Pretty much, of course the veterans got their justice, you know what I'm saying? But everybody was pretty much cool.
Nice. So you had 4 good seasons in Buffalo. Any reason why they didn't want to re-sign you, and then you head to Green Bay? Was it a money situation? Was it just
No,
picked up somebody else?
no, what happened, Buffalo, like my first year, I had a great year. My second year was okay. I mean, because I really wasn't dedicating myself. You know what I'm saying, so it really was a problem on my end. I really didn't dedicate myself and just thought I was going to be here, be there. You know what I'm saying? So they ended up the 3rd year they drafted the running back Antoine Smith in the 1st round.
Yep.
Antoine Smith,
Yeah. So I kind of put myself in that situation. If I would have did everything like I was supposed to have done, they would have never went out and got another running back. But like I said, I was out nightlife, hanging out, partying, and doing things, and they knew, because everybody pretty much talked. So I think that was then once Andy drafted Antoine, it kind of woke me up. Oh shit, I got to get my stuff together.
Right.
And so I ended up getting everything together, make sure I was in tip-top shape, and they were actually was going to try to get rid of me that year. Like I think they wanted to try to cut me, but they couldn't because I bought out. You know what I'm saying? So I did what they expected me to do from the jump. You know what I'm saying? That 3rd year. So I got what happened. Dorsey got hurt. Dorsey Levens, and like I said, I was playing a little bit, but I wasn't playing that much. So I hit my agent up. Hey, Dorsey got hurt over there. I know they had Travis Jervey and Raymond Harris. I knew I could come in and compete with them guys for the starting job right away. So, and they said Dorsey had a while to get back. So Reggie McKenzie was there. We had the same agent at the time. So we made a call to Reg, and they made it happen. And I got traded over there to Green Bay. I learned my plays. Me and Matt Hasselback was Doug Peterson. Them guys helped me learn the plays pretty much real fast. And by the 3rd game I was there, I ended up starting.
Yeah,
Nice.
it was cool to watch, and it was kind of sad to see you only get 1 season in Green Bay.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't even know if we want to talk about Indianapolis with 1 game, but it was shocking after the decent season you had here in Green Bay. We weren't fully stocked at running back. We had some good names, but it's not like the running back now. If you watch the Packers of 3 major studs that can start anywhere in the NFL, but you definitely had a considerable good season here in Green Bay.
Yeah, so what happened, it was during the time where Robert Brooks and Reggie White hadn't made a decision on if they were to come back or not. So it was money being held up on that end. So it was free agency, and I had to make a move. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to be there, but I'm saying, but they wasn't talking about the money wasn't talked about what it needed to be until it was too late. I ended up Minneapolis came in. Bill Polian, he was with the Bills. Brought me over. We talked to them, and I ended up signing with. They told me they was going to draft Edgerrin James or Ricky Williams.
Yep.
They said they're going to sign me, trade Marshall Faulk. A lot of people don't know I was involved in that Marshall Faulk trade. So they're going to sign me, trade Marshall Faulk, which they did.
Wow.
I ended up being like the veteran running back to groom Edgerrin James and Ricky Williams. They ended up drafting Edgerrin James.
Okay.
I get hurt in preseason, but Edgerrin is holding out for some money. So I got hurt in preseason, and after that, Edgerrin, they ended up having to hurry up and sign Edgerrin. And I never played again.
Wow.
Oh, that's crazy.
I hate to play the what if game, but if you're in today's market, at that position, are you trying to play in one of these side leagues like the XFL or the spring leagues or anything like that, or would you just be done at that point if the NFL didn't work out?
I liked football a lot, so I'm pretty sure I would have tried to get in one of these other leagues. They paying some pretty cool money. What's like 80,000 play with XFL? What was it?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Now you got the Rock running.
You could take that 80,000 for a couple of months and still have another job.
Right.
Yeah.
Then that 9 to 5 pushing papers. You know what I mean?
Right. You're right.
I think
But the practice squad pays a lot now too. How much practice squad? Practice squad gets a lot of money, I think.
Texas is getting 50 to 60 plus full-time benefits after so many years. I mean,
yeah.
The NFLPA has done a good job getting up. And again, former Packer player J.C. Treader heading that thing up. You always got to love that. So, in terms of where things were at after Indianapolis, was there a shot of you getting back? Were there some workouts after that, or was that just kind of it? People go,
Actually, no. Green Bay brought me back. Green Bay brought me back for a workout, but my ankle wasn't. I didn't get rehabbed all the way. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like I ended up having to sue the coach. So, but Green Bay brought me back in for a workout. I'm trying to see who. Something was going on. I don't know who it was. I don't know if Dorsey was still there, but they needed to run it back again.
Jeez.
So they brought me back in like 2000. I think it was 2000. Right after the season, not too far after the season, about 2000, they had brought me back in for workout. Okay. So somebody had got hurt, and they could tell that my ankle wasn't fully healed, and the doctors checked it out, this and that and that. And so then I went to Washington Redskins for another tryout. And, it wasn't right.
Gotcha. So what have you been doing with yourself since the NFL time is up? What have you been hanging yourself out with?
Well, now I'm just I have a training company called the Pro Way. So I pretty much train kids. I'm like the Club 7-on-7. Like we got the largest 7-on-7 company in California. It might be in the nation actually.
Are you
have like
at all?
Excuse me?
Are you working with Brett Swain at all? He's a former Packer receiver that does a lot of that stuff out there too, I think, or was.
What's his name? Brent what?
Swain. W-A-I-N.
I don't know him. He's in California?
Out there for a little bit. Yeah, he was out in San Diego doing it.
Oh, okay, yeah. So he's about a couple of hours. I have a chapter in San Diego though.
Okay.
So he's a couple of hours away from me. San Diego's like 2 hours away from me.
Nice.
So I mean, and all this started after I got out of I kind of ended. I started my restaurant. I had a restaurant in Indianapolis. I had a restaurant, M&M Soul Food. What we have out in California, we had them out here. My uncle started these. My auntie started these over like 40 years ago.
Oh wow!
So I ended up opening one in Indianapolis. And I ended up me and my kid's mother had separated. So she ended up one weekend, one holiday, whatever it was, brought the kids out here and never came back. So that's how I ended up back in California because of my kids. I moved out there with their mom.
Hey, respect on that, man. It's awesome that you stepped up as that dad role because there's so many that don't. So I always got to appreciate being a dad myself.
Right.
Speaking of that, it's a good transition to our next point. So if people don't understand why is the guy that played for the Bills and the Packers and the Colts wearing some Buffalo gear, I know the reason, but tell our fans at home what the Bills gear is all about. or the Giants gear is all about.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I'm like, hold on. I had to make sure. I had to look at myself. Nah, okay. Yeah, my son, Darnay, was drafted to the Giants this year. 4th round pick out of UCLA. So this is his number 30. And that's why I'm rocking the Giants gear.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that, man. I'm all about, Jeff and I were talking before we brought you on about I think that's the dad's all-American dream, when you think about,
Definitely.
oh, son, he's going to play football, or I got a daughter. Well, when are we going to have our son so he can play football? And that's nothing.
Right.
Women aren't playing football. I mean, even at the field tonight, there's, a few women players that are holding their own in some of the different leagues. But, yeah, there's nothing like saying, hey, my son is an NFL talent. And obviously having your pedigree going into it is kind of sharp, although he's a different position, correct?
Yes, he plays defensive back.
Nice. And he did pretty
I
well.
wouldn't let them play. I told them they couldn't play running back. They could play in high school, or they could play in high school or youth ball. But once they got to college, they was either going to be a receiver or a DB.
Why was that? Fill us in.
Taking all the hits, so me being a running back, I know they don't last long, but DBs, receivers last. You get more years out of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of nicer being a receiver in today's world versus your playing days, because now you can't even look at a receiver without him falling down, being hurt, and all of a sudden catching. I mean, how frustrating is it for Darnay being a DB and not being able to lay the wood on these guys anymore?
Actually, it's funny you brought that up because Julian Love had got an interception the other day, and I saw Darnay, the guy was kind of coming at him at the last minute. He kind of hopped back. I said, "Like, you ran from that guy?" He said, "No, I wanted to." He said, "No." He said, "No, I wanted to hit him, but I was scared I was gonna get hit. I could have got a penalty because I might have went head to head with him."
Oh.
So I know for a fact they think about it. You know what I'm saying? So it's different. He got out 2 UCLA games because knocking somebody out. You know what I'm saying? So for him, yeah. So he has to. Once they taught him, they teach you how to hit better. As far as keeping your head up and all that. But it's different, like, because he wants to knock you out as a DB. He's one of them DBs that wants to knock you out.
What do you think about that college rule targeting? Like, I don't know. Like, it's kind of just – it's frustrating to see as a college sports fan. You got a defensive back who's trying to make a play, and he makes a good play, and it's like it's so close to being a good hit that they're all of a sudden, oh, you're out of the game. Like, I don't like that rule at all.
No. Yeah, it's real iffy. I think it's real iffy. I saw several kids get thrown out like, oh, I don't believe that. You know what I'm saying? So it takes the aggressiveness out of the kids, make them second guess on making a tackle or going for the pick or going for certain things, because if you hit the helmet, what you're not trying to hit, if both of you guys duck at the same time, they're going to throw the defensive player out.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, like your son playing the NFL, and he sees that, and it's going through his head, and he thinks about that, and that sucks. I mean, you're just trying to make a play, you're trying to make yourself better, and yeah, it sucks seeing that.
Sorry.
Too. What were we always told as football players growing up, Darick? Fill us all in. It was don't think, just play.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, just react. You know what I'm saying? So they take that out of it. I know I don't know how I would be if I was, if I had to play in this era.
Packers putting up 80 some points in the first 2 games. I mean, obviously it's an offensive game now.
Definitely.
Been targeted because you can't jam at the line like you used to. You can't get your hands on a guy anymore. You can't, even as a defensive player. You mentioned the illegal hits. Well, hell, as a defensive lineman, you can't even hit a quarterback anymore. Or you got to worry about how you hit him, or you got to worry about taking him down the ground. I mean, the Reggie Whites, the Michael Strahans of our days, I mean, there's no such thing anymore. And guys are popping hammies left and right this year in the league. We were talking before we brought you on, Darick, about all the injuries so far in week 2. I mean, week 2, when you got, 12, 15 guys sitting on IR already across the league that are major, ticket sellers, if there was such a thing anymore.
So what do you think about MetLife Stadium and all the injuries that are happening there? The Niners were kind of complaining about what was happening and what's going on.
Actually, it was crazy because the Giants practiced on that field and had scrimmages and everything, and played Pittsburgh on the field, and no problem. So I don't know what it could be, you know what I'm saying? But they blamed it on MetLife. But at the end of the day, like I said, they played 2 scrimmage games in a preseason game. I mean, not a preseason game, in a Monday Night Football game against Pittsburgh. So I don't know what's the difference between the turf then and the turf, now.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's just conditioning right now, and they're obviously not ready for it.
It could be a lot of things too. Could be your footwear. Could be, like you said, injury prevention. Could be just. I mean, a lot of the guys in the whole league itself are just, getting injured over stupid, simple stuff that what I mean. You can't figure out anywhere else. So it could be any number of possibilities. It's tough when guys blame field conditions. It's not like, Darick, you can probably remember if you ever played at Philly, man. Remember that old dump?
But yeah, the Lincoln. I mean, what was it called? It was Veterans Stadium.
Oh, that was the worst field I've ever.
Yeah. It had a big mud thing, and I got tackled on it. It was like a piece of like not a cardboard, plywood or something.
Yeah.
In the middle of the field, like with the turf covered up,
Remember the exposed manhole cover for a little bit, and I heard the locker rooms were flooded. They had mice and rats running everywhere in that place. They said
Jail.
you had a critter full of family in there when you were done. I mean, it was nasty.
Yes, sir.
So let's roll with that part. What was the best and worst stadiums that you played in during your time in the NFL?
Veterans Stadium for sure was one. I think Soldier Field was an old stadium back. Soldier Field. I actually played Cleveland. Oh no, don't tell me. We got 15% remaining on this phone.
Quick.
Yeah, Cleveland was a spot that was Cleveland for sure. Like I said, for sure, Philadelphia, and Chicago. I don't remember who else had a bad stadium at the time.
San Francisco, they did, I think.
Candlestick had one bad one, but I think I played there with Green Bay. We played a Candlestick in the playoff game. Terrell Owens catch, remember?
Yeah,
Terrell,
forget that.
Yeah, we had them, man. Oh, wow.
Before I want to get to a pretty unique story that you had through the Associated Press broke about an incident that happened off the field and brought the family really together. It was really well written. I definitely want to commend them on that. But I want to hear your words as far as what happened. I know you kind of know what I'm referring to on this one. So,
yeah, it was when I got shot. After being in the NFL, I kind of went back to hanging around with some of my old fellas and trying to make some extra money, and I was selling weed, and I was robbed for like about 100,000 and shot 7 times.
Oh.
So
you weren't some small time dime bag guy. I mean, 100 grand on you. I mean, that's some good.
Yeah. It was buying like 100 pounds at a time, So it was a nice deal. I'm glad it didn't go through because actually it kind of made me to what I am now, being able to take care of these kids. I don't do it. Being able to take care of these kids off the field and on the field with my mentorship program through the Pro Way. And we got chosen one mentorship we got with my son Darnay now. But pretty much my football program, the Pro Way training, I just started like a couple of months prior to me being shot and robbed.
Wow. So was it the NFL money just kind of ran out? Was it just something to do with your time? What kind of?
Because like I said, I expected to still be in the NFL, so I was just blowing money, like I said, partying and doing all that, and so I still had a little money left over, and I just tried to triple it and quadruple it. You know what I'm saying? And I went back to what I know. You know what I'm saying? And I was hustling.
Yeah.
It was kind of interesting because reading the article, it talks about how they pretty much called your wife at the time saying like, hey, like, that's it. You probably got to come say goodbye. And then they said there was a moment where you actually grabbed the phone, says, I'm all right. Y'all should probably get down here when you can. I mean, what goes through your mind as a dad at that point? You know what I mean? Like, was it Like
Man, I was just so happy that I could talk. I didn't care if I was going to be able to walk or whatever. I was just so happy I was just able to be able to still communicate with them. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I didn't know I was going to be able to walk at the time. I was just happy to be alive, and whatever I was injured-wise, I was going to deal with it. And as long as I could be able to coach my kids, talk to them and mentor them, and make sure they didn't go down the same road I went down. That's what I was worried about.
Definitely.
into too many details. What kind of conversation was that like? I mean, did you kind of turn to God at that point? Did you, like what changed in your mind, or what kind of conversations did you guys have without getting too? Yeah, I mean, obviously there's things you probably don't want to bring up, but what was that kind of general drift between you and your kids? Was there just tears? Like what
Oh
transpired?
yeah, lots of tears, and I would just promise them that I wouldn't, go down that road again, and make sure I would always be there for them, and they don't have to worry about me doing anything shady things to get myself shot or robbed again.
Man, so how do you get out of something like that? I mean, to go through all that, I mean, living the life that you had lived, living the dream, and then kind of going back. Like, how are you able to maintain that strength going forward, to not ever turn back? Like, what motivates you to keep away from that stuff?
Oh man, I got so many kids now that look up to me besides my kids. So that's like I said in my program. So it'd be foolish of me, you know what I'm saying? Like I tell all the kids today, I messed up enough for all you guys, you know what I'm saying? I tell you guys so much that if you mess up, I'm like, well, how could you be that goofy? I just told you that I did that, you know what I'm saying? So pretty much being able to tell my stories to these kids and to keeping them out of trouble, that's the biggest thing that keeps me motivated to do this.
So, do you think it's going to be your story on the field or your story off the field that'll kind of become your legacy? We talk about all the time, and you'll hear pastors all the time that talk. Remember that dash. Remember that dash. What do you see people looking back and seeing for your dash?
I'm thinking mine will be my off the field. You know what I'm saying? Mine should my off the field and what I've done off the field since what I did off the field. So being able to, like I said, mentor these kids and being able to shape them and mold them into not being bad people in their environment. So I think I would be remembered for that, being a positive guy in my neighborhood, changing people's lives. Like we put 20 to 30 kids in college every year through my program.
Oh,
So
cool.
I think I would be remembered by that.
I might know a guy that needs help with tuition next semester, so I know who to talk to, Darick. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
oh, yeah, for sure. Actually, I just started a pro way up in South Dakota, Seward, South Dakota. I'm
Okay.
planning on doing something down in Milwaukee and Chicago.
Well, let me know, man. My other half does social work, so we got a good plug for you, man.
Yeah, we need that. Need that.
Always. We got to look out for our own, man. Well, I know your phone's about to die on you, and I appreciate you taking the time out, man.
2%.
More time. We'll have to get you out here when Darnay plays. You always got a place to crash with me, and we'll take care of you the right way, the Wisconsin way that you never got to live out before. So,
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, man. You guys take care.
Yeah, thank you.
Wondering where we got our cool mugs and thermoses? Look no further than our pals over at Just the Three of Us. All right, everybody. So that was former Packer running back, Colts, and Buffalo Bill running back. Man, a lot of names in there. Darick Holmes. Man, I was so excited when Darick, was able to bless me with the opportunity to bring him on. It was awesome, man. Like we talked about this a lot off air. Darick and I have been connected for a while, which is awesome. I mean, a lot of these guys that we're bringing on the show have been. And it's really nice to be able to share such a personal story. I mean, here's a guy, and I don't want to give too much away without, giving it away, but man, getting mixed up the way he did, being able to turn his life around. But if you can imagine, Jeff, again, we're both dads, and we're going to talk about this a lot, so people, sorry, you're going to get used to it. Being on your deathbed, essentially, because, I mean, he got shot like 7 times, I think they said it was.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thought you have is your family. You know what I mean? Like, he knew I was there. It wasn't a question of, oh, why me? I mean, he said I screwed up. It was me. I mean, carrying around 100,000, like, you're pretty much the prime suspect. You don't find anybody walking around Green Bay that I know of with 100 grand at a time. So, but just being able to open up with that story, man, you know what I mean? That's awesome. It speaks a lot of the volume of the caliber of guests we're bringing on the show. Were they the biggest name ever in the NFL? Were they the biggest, this or that? No, but it's these stories that we're able to share off the field, like Blaze and like Perry and a lot of the guys that we're bringing on are talking about, even guys like Tyler Myers that are still fighting for a chance in the NFL. It's nice to be able to share those stories. And, everyone knows about Aaron Rodgers. Everyone knows about, the other guys that are around. And it was cool to be able to get to the more serious side with Darick. I know we talk a lot about tell us the funny stuff, tell us this, tell us that. But I think with Darick's story, it can reach out to so many people. I mean, we have so many people out in the world now with addictions and with the times that we're dealing in that don't know how to cope. So I want to put the disclaimer out there now. Like if anybody ever needs that extra help or guidance, again, like we talk about, my other half is a social worker. She might be able to help you directly, but she definitely has the resources. So please, 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 if you're ever in that situation with some type of addiction or lostness or homelessness or anything like that, please, please, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. You can email me directly at the Sconni Sports Show at gmail.com. So again, Sconni, SCONNI, sportshow.com. Sconni Sports Show at gmail.com. There we go. It's just one of those things, man, where we got to protect each other, and you just never know what you're going to face, man. We've all been there. Like I said, in Darick's case, he's had it all, lost it all, and then gaining it back now. And, we all have our reasons for being here and doing the things that we do. So it's just nice that Darick, again, was so nice to be able to open up and, being able to tell you and I that there's no off limits, go for it. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm an open book. So it's so awesome that we have these guests week after week after week that are just able to open and pour out their souls to us and let us know about the real deal, not the fluffy stuff that you hear about, because it sounds good. I mean, it's nice to hear some of the stuff. And I wish Darick's phone would have been about to die. But I'm glad we got the time with him that we did, and we were able to at least hit on that story a bit. So.
Yeah, it was nice to hear that story of inspiration and him, fighting for his life and telling everybody, hey, my kids are number one, and I need to live for them. And it was definitely cool and nice little father moment.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the stereotype, man. Dads are deadbeats, and Darick and I were talking about off the record about the African American community. Oh, there's no such thing as a dad in that community. It's nice to be able to see Darick step up in a situation where his ex had left the kids, just abandoned the kids there. So it's nice to see that Darick was able to turn that around, be an inspiration for his kids. And if you haven't had a chance, folks, to reach out and read that article, again, I believe it was through the Associated Press, look it up. There's a great story about, Darnay's comments coming into it. And hopefully, talking to Darick, he said Darnay's kind of tied up the next couple of weeks with Bills obligations, or Giants obligations. Sorry, I keep wanting to go back to the Bills. To have some Giants obligations, but he definitely said that Darnay at some point will be on the show. So even if we don't get them both together, it'll be cool to hear Darnay's point of view about, what he was doing at that time, because Darnay was really, really young when that happened. So just being able to see that and go through that situation, being able to have that, that'll never be me mentality going into it. It's just been really awesome to follow along and see that story. So, it feels like we're blabbling on, but until you've been in that situation or until you've known some more of the details that maybe haven't been made public, like Darick was able to share with me off air, I think that's just awesome, man. I mean, there's nothing like it, and that's why I'm glad, we had the idea to start the show, and we're not even a year in, and look at some of the stories we've been able to share, and guys' stories that wouldn't normally go through like mainstream media. It's awesome that you and I are able to shed the light on this stuff week after week after week, and hopefully, if we can help one person out through the show, obviously we like to have fun, but if we can, on the serious side, help one person or two people, or, hopefully we can help hundreds and thousands of people. But, starting off the first year, if we can get one email saying, hey, that show with Darick Holmes or Tyler Mars or whoever changed my life, I mean, that's what this thing's all about at the end of the day.
Definitely. Love helping people.
So, Jeff, real quick before we sign off for this week, we got predictions. Again, when people are hearing this, the game will already be over. We're playing Drew Brees and the Saints. I mean, Drew Brees, you never can really bet against the guy, although, again, playing the Raiders, losing at Las Vegas. Sorry, it's still getting weird to used to say.
Definitely.
And you're playing at New Orleans, which is never an easy city. Now, you said there will or will not be fans, Chef. You're my.
There is fans there. This is the first week the Packers will have fans. Yes.
Okay. So, are we talking a couple thousand? Are we talking a sellout? Do they have numbers?
I don't know number wise. I want to say 10.
Okay. So at least it's something, you know what I mean? I mean, you watched the NFL game that kicked off with the Chiefs, and it was cool to see at least some fans in there. So, yeah, it's got to be a unique opportunity. I haven't had a chance to talk to any of the guys really this week going into it. but I can only imagine just something is better than nothing. And I know Louisiana has a really good Packer following, obviously from Super Bowl 31 down there. So the fans are there. It's just a matter of how many of them are there, and are they wearing the right colors this time around for sure.
Definitely.
So Jeff, what are your predictions for this week? What do we got? What's the score going to be?
Packers.
Look like you're going to pick against us, Jeff. What the hell?
Packers always play terrible in New Orleans.
Jeff terrible in New Orleans actually. So
well, I'm saying against the Saints. I mean, yes.
A lot of fact checkers out there like yourself, so we got to make sure we get it right.
Kamara, guys, he's been looking solid this whole year. Drew Brees is definitely going down. I think his arm's dead. I think he's going down he's starting to be the Peyton Manning of his end of his career, So I don't know. I'm thinking the Packers are going to be 38-20 Packers.
Okay. Interesting. You said they have Brees and one running back. Jeff, we have Aaron Rodgers. In case you noticed this year, this guy's been lights out. I mean, when your position's threatened, when you have the opportunity to showcase yourself, you're single again, which hate to say it, but man, Aaron Rodgers single is like the best damn thing to ever happen to Green Bay, because you look at his hit.
I heard
he dates and it goes down, down, down real fast, like the roller coaster you don't want to get on. So I mean, he's at his high point, man. I mean, I think he's playing for all the marbles at this point. So hopefully they can get him a little bit more receiver help. We had a little bit last week with Devontae being out. We didn't talk about it on our other episode with Perry. But Aaron Jones having a record week, man. I mean, setting new records, being a candidate for the player of the week for the rushing attack. I mean, the guy did everything, even the cool Oakley shades. I mean, it takes guts to pull that off, and only I think a guy like Aaron Jones can.
Kind of reminds me of the Macho Man Randy Savage glasses. That's what I thought right away. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, he definitely. I mean, he pulled them out early too. I mean, you do that, you got to have a breakout game. You can't wear those and then fall on your face play after play. So it was cool that he backed it up with that, because I'd be pretty damn embarrassed if he put those shades on, just busted left and right for no gains and fumbled a lot. So, I mean, you look at the Packers' security of the ball this year. I mean, they've been pretty awesome. I don't think we have really any turnovers yet, do we?
Not jinx them.
Far, Jeff. I said so. I can report facts. I can't report fiction. So.
That was a hell of a play by Sullivan. So yeah, we have a couple.
Yeah, let's hope our DBs show up this week. Again, it'll be interesting to see with Michael Thomas and a few other potential key injuries this week for the Saints. Packers still hoping that Kenny Clark makes a comeback, obviously going into this past game, and a few other guys. So, it'll be interesting to see if we show up. I think the way our running backs have played being on that turf might help, or that syndicated grass. Let's hope for nothing but good things. I think the Packers will try to slow it down a little bit with that run game and put some pressure on them and tire them out. You watched the Vikings this past week, and they were just dog tired, man. I mean, they just punished them running that ball up the gut, and hopefully we can maintain that through this week. So I'm pretty close to what you were saying, Jeff. I think I'm going to go 31-17 Packers. I think they pull it out, and they make it a little close than what you had said, but I definitely think there's some big key plays. I think 2 turnovers with the Packer defense, maybe an interception and a fumble. Let's hope. I think Aaron Jones carries the team a lot this week. I think we get at least 1 touchdown out of Devontae Adams and 1 touchdown out of, let's see, who should I pick this week? I'll go with Lazard again. I kind of want to pull for MVS again just because now I got that signed jersey in the house, but I think I'll stay with Lazard again this week. He's been looking pretty good.
I think you're going to see a lot of Swerve Irvin this weekend. I don't know. I feel like he's going to have a good game this week, and I think you see a lot of the end-arounds.
I still say one of the most unique player stories has got to be Taysom Hill. The guy here is a 12th-string running back or quarterback, I feel like. We get rid of him, and he goes down to the Saints. He's like, man, I can do it all. I'll run the ball, throw the ball, catch the ball. I'll do whatever the hell you want. He was playing Wildcat the other night again against the Raiders. So just weird to see. And then seeing Drew Brees line up at receiver when they bring that Wildcat package with Taysom is just so – why do you even guard him? I mean, 5'5" Drew Brees is not going to do it.
He's going to get it once. Watch.
Like a Christmas tree, man. It's going to be horrible. Hopefully it's this week against the Packers. Darius Smith knocks him out, and that's it. I mean, Brees
Or Savage.
signed by Drew Brees in my room right now that I love. However, it would be great to just see him just get clobbered, just so we. So then
With the one of your fumbles.
I worry about the Saints' rushing attack against the Packers, though. That is one thing I hope we improve this week. We gave the guys a couple gifts after this past week's game. So hopefully my neighbors all step up this week and have big games so we can give them even bigger gifts next week. So
That's awesome.
there you have it, everybody. That's our episode this week for the Sconni Sports Show. Again, we want to thank our special guest, Darick Holmes, for joining us and sharing that amazing, amazing story. And then Jeff and I will be back next week. Jeff, who do we have next week? Do you remember?
Don Horn.
Yep, legendary quarterback. I guess you could say Green Bay Bart Starr backup Don Horn, who also spent time with the Cleveland Browns. So it'll be cool to get his take on that and what he felt like with the team, having moved from Baltimore and Cleveland and all those things mixing around. And obviously being a backup for legendary Bart Starr. So it'll be cool to pick his brain on that. And I've heard Don tells one hell of a story, so I can't wait.
That's exciting. It's gonna be cool to hear some stories about Bart Starr back in the days and playing for Vince. So yeah, it'll be pretty sweet.
Left, and I hate to keep pointing at it, but man, these guys it's going to be that point, man, where they keep falling off. So it'll be awesome to get one on with us to be able to share some of those cool stories, and hopefully have some cool stories that are not often shared. We always like having these guys on, and you hear the same old same, and I'm glad our guests have been really comfortable with us to the point where they do open up. Not with every name, but again, we kind of know, or at least I kind of know most of who they're talking about, which is fun. So hopefully we can get that and then some from Don next week.
Yeah, definitely. That's cool.
All right, well, here's to hoping that Jeff and I were right on our predictions. We had a big Packer win to celebrate against the Saints. And again, we'll be joined by Don Horn next week. So signing off, I'm your host, MD Lovelace.
Jeff Bryce.
Thanks for joining the Sconni Sports Show.